What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video we're going to be discussing the pressure rankings for UFC 307 that takes place in just over a day's time. I do this in the lead up to every pay-per-view. I do this the day before every pay-per-view card, and I talk about which fighters are under the most pressure and which fighters need to win the most going into the card. What are the stakes for them? What are the stakes if they win? What are the stakes if they lose? All of that. So I'm going to be talking about every fighter on the card. Obviously, the bums on the early prelims, not going to spend as long on them. But yeah, I'll be talking about the more major fighters that you'll see on the thumbnail. And then everyone else as well, I'll give them a bit of attention. But yeah, let's start with the main event and talk about Alex Pereira. So Alex Pereira, it's pretty safe to say he needs to win this fight. Otherwise, he's kind of cooked, because everyone sort of views this as like an undeserved title fight for Khalil. There's already some kind of rumblings going around of people saying he's ducking Ankalaev, people saying that the UFC's trying to protect him. This is a layup. It's a Mickey Mouse title defense. He should win easily. He's a big favorite as such, and I also do think he should win easily. And it's not a good look if he loses. Now, that is why I think that he's under a lot of pressure, because if he loses, the streak that he's built up of being the big guy for the UFC, being the face of the UFC, obviously this year, in my opinion, like 2024 has been the year of Pereira. 2023 wasn't so much the year of Pereira, obviously, because he did lose to Adesanya. But bro, 2024 has been the year of Pereira. Knocked out Jamal Hill, knocked out Yuri, and he was about to fight Khalil. And if he knocks him out, that's 3 KOs in a year, 3 title defenses in a year. Last time someone did that in a calendar year was Kamaru Usman in 2021. So Pereira's cementing himself as probably one of the top 3 faces of the sport, if not the face of the sport right now. And that all kind of comes crashing down if he loses. That elevates if he wins. It won't elevate tremendously, because I think people already kind of view him as they view him as someone who should win this fight, but they already view him as a big star. So this isn't going to catapult his stardom like if he beat John Jones or if he beat Tom Aspinall. That's not this level of fight for him. Right now, this is the title defense that every champion kind of goes through, where you just got to take care of it, make him look easy, make the fans happy, and just silence the people being like, this fight sucks, why are we seeing this fight? Because it happened with Volkanovski fought TKZ, Izzy fought Vittori or Cannonier, you could say, I guess. Everyone kind of has their sort of not undeserved, but just the iffy sort. Even Pantoja had Usyk. Guys get their undeserved title challenger that they kind of just got to deal with and just take care of business, and then everyone kind of just forgets. So that's what Pereira's got to do. He's got to take care of business and win by KO. If he somehow doesn't finish this fight and wins by decision, that's also a terrible look. But yeah, he really can't get hurt by Khalil. He can't get rocked. He can't look bad at all in this fight. He has to go out there and just KO Roundtree immediately, and he needs to just put Roundtree on a highlight reel, and then people will forget that Roundtree was the number 8 ranked guy and didn't deserve a title shot because he was coming off a win over Anthony Smith. People will just forget about that in a year's time, and just look back on it and be like, oh yeah, this is Pereira's 3rd title defense, bro. That's pretty sick. It was a crazy KO. Just add to the highlight reel. That's really the only pressure that Pereira is under. It's quite a lot. He loses his belt. He loses a lot of the star potential. He loses a lot of respect from the fan base, I think, if he does take the L in this fight. But I think he's going to get the win. So yeah, he should win this pretty comfortably. Anyway, let's move on to the next fighter. Khalil Roundtree Jr. I don't think he's under that much pressure. Look, no one really thinks he deserves the title fight anyway. If he has a good account for himself and maybe stuns Pereira or has a moment or goes back and forth with him and has one of those sort of Max Holloway moments where they goes, oh, let's just swing or something, or if he even gets Pereira in any trouble at all in this fight, I think that's a pretty good look for him. I think no one really views him as a guy who's going to win the belt. Everyone's saying he's not deserving the title shot, which is true. Everyone's saying he's just going to get ran through, he's going to get KO'd. So if that happens, whatever, you're on a highlight reel, it happens. He's already been KO'd before, so it's not like he loses the undefeated record or anything. He's lost. He's not some fucking aura of Dagestani guy that, inshallah, I keep my undefeated record. He can lose, he'll be fine, he'll bounce back and fight like a fucking Bogdan Guskov or something. That's my prediction. I think he's going to lose, but I don't think it's career over if he does. Like, I don't think anyone viewed Khalil as someone who was going to win the belt. Like, I don't think this is like, oh, Khalil was on his path to win the belt. He was on his trajectory, and then he got fast-tracked too soon, like a Darren Till against Woodley, and then, like, he would have got there in due time, and he would have been I don't think anyone really viewed Khalil as someone who was going to work his way to a title fight. He's kind of got given it, but he's going to lose. It'll be fine. He's not under that much pressure. And if he wins, crazy. You win the belt and you get a crazy amount of fucking star potential from that. But yeah, Khalil, not under heaps of pressure in my opinion. Let's move on though to the next fighter. I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Raquel Pennington, is she under pressure? Sure. You don't really want to lose to Juliana Pena. It's never really a good look because Juliana Pena is quite literally as talented at fighting as my sister. Probably my sister's more talented at fighting than Juliana Pena, honestly. Like, Pena is literally the epitome of female street fights at school, or female school fights. When they get into a fight, you see those like videos on Twitter and shit of like a female school fight and they just swing retardedly and run at each other and try and pull each other's hair. Like, that's what watching Juliana Pena fight feels like, to be honest. Like, that's what she looks like striking. Maybe she comes in and looks real good. Not sure, who cares. But Pennington, as far as the pressure goes, yeah, you don't want to lose to Pena. It's never a good look. You know, you want to be able to defend the belt. You know, everyone can go down in history as a vacant title winner. She won a vacant belt, but you got to defend the belt. Now, I don't think anyone views Pena as the actual challenger. I think if she goes out there and beats Kayla Harrison, that's definitely a massive like positive for her and a good look. Here, it's like, it is what it is. She's a not sizable, but decent sized favourite. People expect her to get the win. If she doesn't, not the best look, but it's not like she's Pereira fighting just an absolute bum who no one... Oh, Khalil's not a bum, but like fighting someone who no one gives a chance. Like, Pena could absolutely win this fight. As for her, you know, I don't know, Pena. Is she under pressure? Yeah, sure, because she yaps a lot, and if she loses, she kind of loses the ability to get another title fight. She kind of goes into irrelevancy, probably should just retire at that point, loses the ability to get a Kayla Harrison fight, because I assume she's going to beat Ketlin Vieira, and then that fight's not there. And yeah, if you win the belt twice, you know, she also wants that Nunes fight, so she can fight Kayla, somehow win like she did against Nunes, doubt it, but somehow win, and then maybe entice Nunes back for a trilogy. I doubt it, but she wants big fights. She needs to be here to bring some interest to the division. And if she loses, that's all kind of gone. And then we end up with... I mean, Harrison's fun, but like if Ketlin Vieira wins against Kayla Harrison and Pennington wins, like, can't wait for Pennington versus Vieira 2. Let's go. Who's excited, chat? Like, that's just dead. So yeah, we need, I don't really care who wins this as long as Kayla wins, because she'll bring interest. But yeah, Pena, under a little bit of pressure. I'd say slightly more than Pennington, just because Pena's doing the yapping. But Pennington's old anyway. She's already lost a belt to... Both girls have lost to Nunes, so it's not really disastrous for either of them. It is what... Both of them kind of are viewed as, like, not real champions, to be honest. I think everyone views Kayla as the best bantamweight, but she's just not got the belt yet. So I don't think either one, it matters that much. It's one of the less fucking stakes title fights. Like, it's got pretty much the lowest stakes of a title fight that I've seen in recent UFC history, to be honest. I don't think anyone cares about this. But anyway, let's move on to the next fight. Next up, we got Jose Aldo, the King of Rio, one of the fan favourites fighting this week. And there's a few fan favourites. You got Pereira, you got Aldo, you got Kevin Holland, I guess. Wonderboy you could consider a fan favourite. I'd say Aldo's definitely one of the fan favourites, and he's under a little bit of pressure because he came back after a short retirement. Everyone was excited to see him back. He fought Martinez in Rio, whooped his ass, beat him up. Amazing. Now, the UFC's decided that they hate literally the, like, arguable featherweight goat. I think Volkanovski is, but whatever. Not a conversation for this video. But Aldo, arguable featherweight goat, top 10 all-time undeniably, and they just decided they hate him. But apparently Stipe, who's 42 and hasn't fought in 4 years, he's the one that we need to respect and give this legacy fight with John Jones instead of having Aspinall fight for the belt. But Jose Aldo, no. Aldo, back of the line, fight Martinez and then Batista. Like, are they just trying to give this guy to up-and-comers and put a name on the resume? Because clearly it's not working, because he whooped up Martinez and made him look shit. And now Martinez is fighting Marcus McGee, which is a fun fight, but, like, that's what they were kind of trying to do. Like, this, I don't think they were putting Martinez in there as, like, oh, setup. If they wanted to do a setup, they could have done someone else. If they wanted to, like, an old guy do a Dominic Cruz fight, they could have done that. I feel like they were trying to be like, okay, we'll get Aldo in Rio. There's also a chance this prospect wins and builds his name off Aldo. I think they're trying to do the same thing with Bautista here, but just not in Rio, obviously. I think they're hoping he wins so they can get a new guy at bantamweight, because there's not that many up-and-coming prospects in the rankings, or like really close to that. Like, they got Talbot, but Talbot's still like a couple fights away from looking at a ranked opponent. So I think they want a guy like Batista to be like, look, this guy beat Jose Aldo, and they can market him as a future champion, because like only champions, only people who have either held the belt at that time when they beat Aldo, or then won the belt afterwards. Only people like that, except for Marlon Moraes, which was kind of a robbery. Every single other one of them has become a champion. So Aldo, if he loses to Bautista, they might try and run that storyline. I think he's under a bit of pressure, because at the age Aldo is, as soon as he loses, he's kind of cooked. Like, as soon as he loses, it's kind of wraps for a title dream. I think he can still get there. Now, if he wins this, I think he deserves a top 5 guy for sure. Title elimination fight, and then if he wins that, get a title fight. I thought he arguably should have got a top 5 fight after the Martinez fight, because he's already beat Vera, beat Font, he's beat a lot of guys. But it is what it is. Jose Aldo is under a bit of pressure. He does need a win to keep it alive, to keep like the late career resurgence alive, I'll say. If he loses, it's not disastrous as long as he doesn't just get whooped. He probably might retire if he loses, to be honest, but we'll see. But Aldo, under a little bit of pressure. Let's talk about Mario Bautista, though. Bautista, bit of pressure for him. He's the prospect coming up. He's lost, though. He did lose to Corey Sandhagen, and he did lose to, I think it was Trevin Jones. So Bautista has losses for sure. It's not disastrous if he loses. Again, same with Martinez. No one's going to blame you for losing to Jose Aldo. It's just if he gets done up bad, people are going to be like, this guy's a fraud, he sucks. Because people say fraud if anyone loses to a fighter over like 35 in the rankings. They'll be like, fraud check, like Dustin and BSD. But BSD kind of did get fraud checked. But I think that BSD got fraud checked by Moicano, not Poirier, to be honest. But regardless, Aldo, he's really good. He's solid. He's been around for ages. Former champion, amazing elite fighter. So if Bautista loses to him, not a big deal. He's a favourite for some reason. Maybe that'll prove to be stupid of me saying some reason, because he might just win. But if he wins, it's sick for him. He gets a top 10 next to his top 10 next to his name, and former champion on the resume. That's always good. But I just don't think he's that good. I think he's solid, but I don't think he's beat anyone that good. Simone and Blackshear was close, arguable robbery. I don't think Bautista's all that. I think he's going to lose. If he wins, good for him. If he loses, I don't think any fans are going to judge him too harshly. Anyway, let's move on to the next fighter. Kevin Holland, big mouth, trailblazer. I don't know if he's under pressure in any time he fights. Like, Kevin Holland fights, they're always kind of, he goes in, who knows what fucking weight class it's going to be. He fights 5 times a year anyway. It's going to be fine. Holland's going to just scrap, and he's going to get in the cage and fight. Like, that's just what Holland does. It's nothing new. He's probably going to fight again this fucking year. They'll probably chuck him on the Tampa card at the end of the year. That seems like something they would do with Holland. But yeah, he'll win. If he wins at middleweight against Dolidze, cool. You got rankings in 2 divisions. You can go back down. You can fight anyone you want there. Or you stay at middleweight, fight someone else. And you could probably get some decent-ish, not big names, but decent names at middleweight. Call me crazy. He would obviously lose this fight. But like, if Whittaker loses to Hamzat, I could see them somehow managing to give him a Whittaker fight. Like, he could talk his way into that. They gave him Wonderboy when he was unranked, coming off a loss to Hamzat Chimaev. Like, he's able to kind of talk his way into spots because he's got favour with the company because of how many times he's stepped up and, like, had fights for them. So, Holland, I don't think he's going to, like, win convincingly against Dolidze. I think he's just going to win. Maybe he gets a finish, maybe just a point decision. But Holland, I do pick him to get his hand raised. If he loses, big deal, whatever, just go down to welterweight. Middleweight's clearly not your division, but you can kind of still have fun fights there, and it also allows him to fight more often. So yeah, Holland's always going to be a guy that just floats between weight classes and just fights a whole bunch. Losses don't matter for him. It's like the Diaz brothers. Losses don't matter. He's just going to scrap. Unless he gets like finished by Dolidze, I think any other result is fine for him. Anyway, Roman Dolidze, is he under heaps of pressure? Not really. He's coming off a win over Smith at light heavyweight. So again, 2 guys that have been moving back and forth between weight classes. Dolidze's gone up. We got a former 170-pounder versus a previously fought in his last fight at 205. So the size difference, I think, similar height, but Dolidze's definitely going to be a lot bigger. But if he loses Dolidze, go back up and try 205 if you want. I don't think anyone views Dolidze that highly anyway. He already got whooped up by Mavov. go up to 205 or just stay here and fight some unranked guys. I don't know. Delizzi's kind of got options, so no pressure for either of these two, in my opinion. Bit of a no-stakes matchup, just a fight that's going to be fun, hopefully. But anyway, let's move on to the next fight. Kayla Harrison, probably one of the fighters with the most to lose this weekend, given that she came over from PFL, big signing, big news, all this, all that, and then she beats Holly Holm. Everyone's like, yep, she's going to win the belt. She's going to smoke everyone. She's too big. She's on roids. She's a man. She's a he. He's a her. I don't know. Like, Kayla's trans. Like, I don't know. She's on roids. Everything. She's going to win the belt. It's just a matter of time. And if she goes out here and loses to Ketlin Vieira, it's a pretty bad look. Not because Ketlin Vieira is bad, but also just because she's getting up there. It's a struggle for her to make weight every time she does. Like, she looks like death on the scale. She looks shit. She looks like a fucking skeleton. And if she loses to Vieira, like, what? How that? Like, there's not much hype for her going into a title fight in the future. Like, she loses to Vieira, what are they going to do? Give her Norma Jamont or something? Like, I wouldn't complain. Love Norma Jamont in the cage. Love her in the bed too. But, like, what are they going to do? Give her Norma Jamont? Give her fucking Irene Aldana? Give her, like, Myra Bueno Silva, Macy Chiasson? Like, they're just going to go some random girl. Like, I think it was the whole fight. It's this just to put him on the same card as Pena Pennington, and then it's just a title fight. And if she loses, that kind of delays that, and it's going to be like, okay, now you got to make weight like another time or 2 times, and then fight for the belt. So it just kills the momentum, and it'll also just make people be like, yeah, Kayla's a bum. She was never that good. Even though Vieira is solid. Vieira had a close fight with Pennington. But yeah, Kayla is expected to run through her and win comfortably. And if she doesn't, not a great look. Ketlin Vieira, no pressure. You're a random Brazilian chick that's somehow made their way to number fucking 3 or something in the world. You beat Kayla Harrison, sick. You're going to gain a lot of respect. If you lose, you're expected to lose. Like, no big deal. Anyway, let's move on to the prelim headliner. Next up, we got Joaquin Buckley. Bit of pressure for Mr. Bucks. Bit of pressure for New Mansa. Look, he's been chatting a whole bunch, always. Like, he always chats. This year he's been chatting especially. Did the whole fucking thing after the, After the Luque fight, to be fair, wasn't that crazy. He didn't say nothing crazy. But then he called for a fight in St. Louis, went to 300, started yapping at the presser, beats Rizabov, calls out Connor, absolutely makes himself look like an idiot. Then after that, starts just randomly beefing with DC and Bisping because they criticised his call out. And then he started calling everyone hoes. It's just a bit cringe. But he's talked his way. He's managed to find his way into a fight with Wonderboy. Top 10 guy. Definitely a big win for him if he gets it done. Favourable matchup stylistically for sure. I think everyone kind of agrees this is a good matchup for Buckley to just be too physical, be too strong, and out-wrestle Wonderboy. He could lose. Now, if he loses, not a great look. You never want to lose to the 41-year-old. But Wonderboy is certified unk at this stage, you know. Definitely needs to... Wonderboy's like borderline going to fucking retire if he loses this. Wouldn't surprise me if we see a Wonderboy retirement with a loss here, especially a bad loss. If it's a close decision, maybe sticks around. But if Buckley loses, it kills the momentum. He's on a run at welterweight. A lot of people have been like, oh, welterweight Buckley's different, bro. Because at middleweight, he kind of just got tuned up a bit by Mavov. Like, he was KO'd by Curtis. He was just never really good enough. But at welterweight, he's undefeated, putting together a streak, beating up some guys. And if he loses, kind of kills the momentum. It is what it is. Like, it's not disastrous. He's not some prospect. This isn't fucking Payne Talbot or something. He's not undefeated, of course, so it's not going to kill him that badly. But it will just kind of decrease the fans' sort of excitement to see him fight and be like, oh, Buckley's a legit guy. Like, it'll kill that sort of talk around him. And if he wins, cool. You beat Wonderboy, former title challenger, top 10 guy. Good win. Wonderboy Thompson, not much pressure. There's not much pressure on Wonderboy anytime he fights at this stage. Everyone's kind of like, yeah, it could be his last. It's like the Poirier, I guess, of welterweight in the sense that, like, he kind of goes out there and fights. It's like, is he going to stick around? Maybe. Not sure. Then he's like, oh, yeah, probably one more. Wonderboy, I don't think he's ever said one more. I think he's still probably going to stick around for a bit longer. But if he loses here, wouldn't surprise me if he retires. If he wins, cool. You beat up-and-coming guy, you beat Buckley. You can probably get, like, a Burns rematch or something. Like, I don't know. Or you can fight, like, I don't know, the winner of Prates and fucking Randy Brown. Like, he's just going to be in that cycle forever. We know Wonderboy's not getting to the top 5. Maybe he can talk his way into, like, an Usman fight just for a big name. He'd lose, obviously, but just for a big name fight or a Colby fight or something like that. But, yeah, you know, it's cool. What's his name? I forgot what I was talking about. Wonderboy, no pressure if he loses, really. only upside if he wins, in my opinion. So Wonderboy not under that much pressure. But now is where we get to the slightly irrelevant fights. So I'll speed through these and we can end the video pretty quickly. Yasmin Lucindu, young Indian boy. What the fuck? No. Yasmin Lucindo, I don't know. Fuck. She's a prospect, I guess. She's young. Don't let Rigo near her. I'm kidding. I'm not. But, no, Lucindo, she's a prospect. She lost to Harrogate. But she's solid. She's decent. If she loses, whatever. No one really cares. It's not like she's some mega fucking prospect the like was never seen. She's not undefeated. Yeah. Lucinda, who gives a fuck? Rodriguez, she's 37, who no one cares about her. She's probably going to lose the fight. If not, she loses half her fights anyways. Women's MMA, no one cares. Anyway, let's move on to the next fight. Next up, we got Austin Hubbard, certified UNC tough vet. Tough veteran, won the recent season of Tough. No one cares. No one cares, buddy. No one cares. You're not a veteran because you fought in the UFC like twice and then went on Tough. Austin Hubbard's mid. Who cares? No one gives a fuck. Hernandez, I'd say he's under a bit more pressure. He's actually got a bit of a loss streak going. He's not looking too good. If he loses this, he's probably getting the walking papers. It's crazy to think this guy KO'd Benil Dariush, but he's potentially about to lose to Austin Hubbard. He does look a lot better at lightweight, though, in my opinion. I think lightweight is a better division for him. I think featherweight's a terrible idea. It's like people lose like 1 or 2 fights and be like, it must be the weight class. I should change divisions. Like, unless you're just way physically undersized, which like I guess maybe he is, but like he's missing weight at featherweight multiple times. So like I feel like you could just stay at lightweight. It's not like you're going to be fighting Makhachev and you'll be outsized. Like, you're not going to fight Islam. You're going to be an unranked bum. So you might as well just be healthy. Like, if you're going to be an unranked bum, be a healthy unranked bum. So yeah, Hernandez, I'd say, definitely needs the win to keep his job. That's definitely the pressure that he's under. Anyway, let's move on to the next fight. Next up, we got Cesar Almeida. I'd say he's under a bit of pressure, just given, not because he's like on some loss streak, but just given he did lose his last fight. He is getting up there in age, and he is like not a prospect, but like he's a good quality striker and someone that the UFC, I think, is trying to push. I think there's a reason why they gave this guy Dylan Budka in his debut and then immediately gave him Roman Kopylov. Like, they're trying to test him and they're trying to get him out there and give him fun matchups. He's going to light up Ihor Potieria. I'm not even going to discuss him losing, because if he loses, he's cooked and he should retire. To Ihor Potieria, that's ridiculous. But if he wins, yeah, the UFC is just trying to get him like a highlight reel KO and get him to look good. I think he will deliver. If not, a bit disappointing. Ihor, he's just there to get KO'd. I think Ihor should have a job forever, to be honest. Even if this guy's on a 5-fight losing streak, keep him signed. We need guys like Ihor to just provide highlight reel KOs. That's what we need. We need him to just allow the Michel Pereiras of the world to backflip KO him and then choke him unconscious with a guillotine. Like, he needs to be in the UFC forever. Never get rid of him. Anyway, let's move on to the next fight. Next up, we got Ryan Spann. I'd say he's under quite a bit of pressure, to be honest. I think both of these guys in this fight, less so OSP, just because he's just older, no one really cares about him. But Ryan Spann KO'd Reyes. He's kind of been in and out of looking decent, and then he looks shit. This guy's lost his last 3. He's lost to Krylov, he lost to Anthony Smith. Let that sink in. You lost to Anthony Smith, and then you got KO'd by Gushkov. He's been looking pretty shit, to be honest. So Spann, I'd say, is like borderline cut if he loses. That'll be 4 in a row, and it's not like you're some former champion or big name where they'll justify keeping you after 4 losses. And you're not like Tai Tuivasa, who's a fan favourite, or Ferguson, or one of these guys. So yeah, if Spann loses, he could be cooked. He could be out of there. And also, just losing to 41-year-old OSP is never a good look. OSP, speak of him. Not under that much pressure. He's old. He's expected to lose anyway. Probably gets cut, but they might just not cut him, to be honest. Can't wait for OSP to get a retirement promo package. We're gonna go 13. We're gonna go like 10 minutes into the fucking prelim broadcast, because they're gonna spend like half the broadcast doing promo retirement packages for Esparza and OSP. It's going to be amazing. But anyway, let's move on to the next fight. Tisha Pennington, Torres, whatever. I wouldn't say she's under much pressure. Again, it's women's MMA. If you look down their records, half of them have lost to all the fucking division, and they beat the other half of the division. Like, literally, women's MMA fighters have just all fought each other, because there's just less fights to make, because there's less depth of the division, and there's no prospects coming up to be like, oh, we got to feed this girl to a prospect. They all just recycle and fight each other, and basically everyone's fought everyone. So Pennington, if she loses, whatever, it's just another loss. She's already lost to a bunch of former champions. She lost to Rose. She lost to Andrade. She lost to someone else, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm just yapping, but I know she's got losses to former champions. But yeah, Pennington's solid. Or maybe she beat Rose. Am I tripping? I don't know. Anyway, Esparza, talking about her, she's going to retire anyway, so there's no pressure. It's not like, oh, you'll get cut. Like, no. She's retiring. She's announced it, so she's just coming out here for one last fight. She's probably going to lose, but whatever. No pressure. Let's talk about the last fight on the card, though. Another certified unk matchup to start off the card. We got Tim Means, 40 years old, versus Court McGee. I think he's 39 years old. Both of these two certified unks, certified crafty vets. Not so crafty, though. Tim Means, I think, is going to win. Both of these guys are under the pressure of their kneecaps fucking exploding under them because they're just ancient. They're actual artifacts. They're primary sources from the fucking fall of the Berlin Wall. But anyway, these guys, they're old. We know it. No one considers them good. So if either of them lose, no one's going to care. And if either of them win, no one's going to care. No one's opinions about Tim Means or Court McGee will change following UFC 307. That's my bold prediction. But that is the video done, guys. I do this after every pay-per-view. If you're new here, like, subscribe, follow my Instagram, Left Lane MMA, Twitter. I think it's the same thing. But yeah, follow all that shit, notifications and all that, typical YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more notifications. But yeah, drop some more video ideas you guys want to see in the comments following UFC 307. Obviously, I might stream for the prelims, but I'm having mates over, so I might not. But yeah, we got more videos coming in the future, but if you guys have any other particularly good ideas, let me know and I'll steal them and I'll give you credit. But anyway, peace out, guys. Goodbye.